Animal Crossing has been with us since 2001 and has continued to confuse and bewilder non-gamers for 20 years. So, is there a final boss? When do you win? What's the point? When do you get the gun? While New Horizons was one of the few saving graces of the hell year that was 2020, the franchise itself has had 9 main series games to date, spanning 8 different platforms. As it jumped from console to console like some kind of wholesome, calming computer virus, many features have fallen by the wayside. Whether they were lost due to changes in technology, streamlining, or just wanting to mix things up a bit, these features are sorely missed by veteran players who keep hoping that New Horizons seasonal updates may bring them back. And as the updates continue to roll out, you can watch this list become less accurate every few months. Hooray! For now, however, I'm Ben from TripleJump, and here are 10 Animal Crossing features lost to time. Number 10. Special characters. Animal Crossing's special characters are what I would call town workers, NPC characters who aren't villagers and who have jobs. From roaming salesmen or saleswomen to shop owners to town hall employees, these hard-working workers basically keep the village humming year-round without any kind of break. Many of them have come and gone, and while certain travelling characters have been replaced with their younger relatives, others have yet to make a return. Katrina the fortune teller, Pete the postman, Gracie the fashion designer, Dr. Shrunk, and Wendell the artist/wallpaper merchant. None of them have been able to track down Tom Nook's island getaway, which is especially strange for Wendell because he could basically just swim there, right? You're being lazy, Wendell. We don't need to replace you with a different walrus, do we? With his secretaries Pelly and Phyllis, Tortimer was the long-standing mayor of the various towns across the franchise, which must have set him up well, as he was able to retire to his own private island in New Leaf. His current whereabouts are unknown, but the appearance of a gravestone in the release trailers did put the wind up a lot of fans. I'm sure he's fine now. Number 9. Lighthouse duty. In the first Animal Crossing game, Tortimer will go off on his holidays in January and February. Before he goes, however, he will loiter around the town's well and offer you the responsibility of switching the lighthouse on every night. Being a coastal town, this is a pretty vital task unless you want to wake up with a large ship sticking out of your house. If you actually do your job over the entire week, Tortimer will gift you a lighthouse model that he bought from his spa resort as a reward. Thanks, I love it. Strictly speaking, this is an optional event rather than a feature, but it does represent the little jobs and tasks that you could do in older games, giving you an extra incentive to be active in your town every day. New Horizons does allow you to purchase a lighthouse, but it's just a prop. Maybe that explains why Gulliver keeps washing up on shore. Number 8. Town gates and guards. Back before Tom Nook was relentlessly colonizing islands, Animal Crossing villages were surrounded by tall cliffs with only one way in and out. While the train station was originally your only way of accessing other towns, Porter became yet another victim of Animal Crossing unemployment. When he went to return to his friends on the Animal Shelf, the train was replaced by a large and slightly ominous-looking town gate. Booker and Copper became the town's official gate guards in Wild World and City Folk, checking anyone entering or leaving the town and also acting as a lost property box. Thinking about it, the need for gate guards at all is rather ominous. You could say they're there to stop strangers coming into the town without permission, but why are they stationed on the inside of the gates? Are you being protected from the outside world, or is the outside world being protected from you? Number 7. Personality quizzes. You kids and your appearance menus have it so easy. Back in my day, Timmy and Tommy didn't let you choose what you looked like. You were dumped on public transport with Rover, the serial face rearranger who harassed you with questions. You were then assigned a permanent look based on your answers, and you'd better get used to it. Online wikis have laid out comprehensive guides showing what each combination of answers will result in, but that isn't much good for a 9-year-old starting the game 20 times over to try and get something that vaguely looked like them, or didn't look like Satan at least. Disgraced seaman, quiet back there, Cap'n took over interrogation in Wild World, driving you to your new life in his taxi cab, and he gave you even fewer questions to answer. Also, stop talking to me and watch the road, please. While some games let you choose your hairstyle, the Shampoodle hairdressers had the same idea, with their styles run through a random Girls Teen Mag ABC personality quiz system. No wonder they went out of business. Number 6. Gyroids. Gyroids are... I don't actually know what they are, but there are a lot of them, and some of them are sentient. or all of them are, and they just don't want to talk to you, which makes collecting them and displaying them in your home feel quite problematic, actually. And who knows what Brewster is doing with so many of them. A mainstay of the franchise from the start, gyroids are a species of clay people with waving arms. No one knows who they are or what they were doing, but they were definitely not hard to find. Want to dig up fossils when it's raining? Too bad, they're gyroids. Outside of the gyroid that acted as your save point in the first game, construction foreman and auctioneer Lloyd is the only intelligent gyroid we're aware of, although, no, maybe it's best we don't know for sure. Number 5. Rudeness. Okay, so 2020 really did a number on us to get us to miss people being rude in public, so here we are. New Horizons has received criticism for its repetitive dialogue, but fans have been making similar complaints for years at this point. Why? Because the GameCube games were pretty brutal, with many villagers being downright horrible to you, getting angry if you refused to trade with them, teasing you for your appearance, or outright insulting you to your face. If you decided to ignore them or took a few days away from the game, they would get angry at you for not talking to them. While getting yelled at by animals may be a strange thing to want, it made the villagers a bit more dynamic. Being nice all the time is more in keeping with the wholesome vibe of the series, but having them be mad or insulting or mean does make them feel more realistic. Although the smug villagers still drive me mad. Get off my island, Henry! Number 4. Getting screamed at by RESETTI. Speaking of rudeness, Mr. Resetti's job security was a major concern for fans when news of an autosave feature was revealed for New Horizons. Mr. Resetti has been here since the beginning, the bastion of save data and the one line of defense against resetting or damaging your game. If you dared to forget to save your game before shutting off for the night, had your game run out of battery, or even had the audacity to time travel, the crotchety little guy would pop out of the ground and give you hell for it. But Mr. Resetti isn't just some random loon. For starters, he's a mole, and a loon is a different animal entirely. Secondly, he and his brother Don run an underground surveillance center. It's not quite GCHQ, but it is still interesting to learn exactly how he's able to identify your dirty, cheating ways. He screams because he cares. However, with autosaving now a basic feature in all video games, Mr. Resetti is probably not going to get his job back anytime soon. At least he and his brother have found a new venture in the Nook Inc. rescue service. Number 3. Flea Market. There have been quite a few events that haven't kept their place on the Animal Crossing calendar. The Bean Throwing Festival, the Acorn Festival, Explorers Day, Flower Fest, Weeding Day, Sports Fair, Mayor's Day, Lardy Day, and the Boys Festival, during which the villagers all sit around and talk about their favourite show on Amazon Prime. However, the flea market represents my favourite pastime, barging into other people's homes and forcing them to sell me their miscellaneous tat. It's a lot easier than having everyone send it to us, so why not buy some tat, give us your address, and we'll... Actually, don't give us your address. Appearing only in Wild World and City Folk, the flea market took place once per month and was essentially a free-for-all on people's homes, with villagers allowing you to buy pretty much whatever you wanted from their houses. It was a good way of getting your paws on furniture that you'd been eyeing up while running errands. Give me that ball return, Astrid. I want it. The holiday was scrapped in New Leaf and has yet to make an appearance in New Horizons. However, with your starter villagers' homes being full of things that you already bought and gifted them, buying back your own stuff each month may be a bit of an ask. Number 2. Coffee shop. Considering his popularity, it's surprising that Brewster is relatively new to the series, first appearing in Wild World. With fans clamouring for Brewster's return since the launch of New Horizons, and since he's been name-dropped in some villager dialogue, it isn't impossible for the beloved pigeon barista to make a welcome return. However, this entry isn't about Brewster, but rather his pride and joy, the Roost. I know better than anyone that a museum needs a good coffee shop, and that is exactly what the Roost provided. A small box room in the basement, the Roost was a bit dingy, yet was also the perfect place to go after spending a day running around getting attacked by bees and being yelled at by villagers. It even had a small stage where KK Slider would do quiet concerts on Saturdays instead of taking up the entire plaza like a diva. In New Leaf, Brewster was finally able to set up his own coffee shop outside of the museum, even opening up a part-time job for when you're tired of selling apples. However, it's easy to miss the snugness of the original Roost. Oh god, am I a hipster? Number 1. NES games. You know what I miss? Playing a video game inside a video game. For when you get tired of playing that game you're playing the game in. What? Within Animal Forest, Animal Crossing, and their respective GameCube ports, you could find and play original complete NES titles. 19 games were available, collectible through various in-game competitions and drops, as well as through the Nintendo e-reader. A few rarer games were only available if you unlocked them with a cheating device. Ah, the good old days where you could plug in an action replay and do whatever you wanted. Players have since discovered that Animal Crossing itself contains a fully functional NES emulator that is able to play any NES title from old memory cards with some minor modding. With Nintendo now bundling retro games for sale on the Switch and using them as incentives for people to sign up for their online service, this may seem like an obsolete feature, but the collectible nature of the hidden NES games is definitely something many players wish would return.